So I really prefer my dad to be that kind of man that is just
Or will you
alone.
guys swap that?
And actually,
No, because that would be the solution actually.
if I see my dad coming from work and he has gifted and he's come back and come and play with us. So my kid
My dad comes back from work. My dad
Alright, so welcome to the show. So like I said earlier, I'm Adefolami Agumbiade. Today, we'll be talking about how childhood trauma may affect adult relationships and what we can do about it. I mentioned earlier before we started the show that we've had people come on the show, particularly, and when they show up on the show, you would hear statements like, I cannot trust any man because my father beat my mother. And it's particularly common. It's particularly common across Africa because in other countries, violence is also common, but you have like the usual services. If people are fighting, before you know it, they dial the police. In Nigeria, you've had cases in which people call police stations. When they get to police stations, the police will tell them to go home and go and settle their matter. So a lot of people pass through this. I'll give a particular story. I had a friend, and I think I mentioned this on the previous show. I had a particular friend, a lady who she grew up very, very attached to her dad. She loved her dad to death. All right. But the dad was a serial womanizer. You know when you say someone is a philanderer, the dad would, if it was possible for the dad to toast her friends, the dad would toast her friends.
Wow.
It was that kind of but she loved that dad. The man was there's some people that you would enjoy their company. They will make you laugh. They would dance with you. So she loved that about her father, but she just realized that her dad was not faithful to the mom. So all throughout the time in which she entered into dating relationships, I still recall she was dating a particular guy, and the guy said that I think the guy said at that time that he's faithful, and she just started laughing. Because as far as she was concerned, men cannot be faithful. In her words, her father, who she loved, who is like the best man alive, sleeps around. So you are now saying, she said, you don't have money. If you have money, you understand? So whether I like you or not, some of those childhood experiences kind of like they set themselves up as standards. Things people go through in childhood, all right, becomes the standard for their experiences. The second story, I had while I was a student, there was a particular apartment I lived in. It was meant for students, but a married couple moved in at some point. And then at one particular time, the wife wanted to, I will never forget that day. It was, I think probably was the day of the week, maybe Thursday or Friday. And I'm sure what I want to say, some of you have experienced it. So the wife got into an argument with someone on the street. I think maybe she was wearing like a gown. And then she told the person on the street that, wait, I'm coming. So she went inside. I went to go and change into jeans. So she wore a jeans. I think, I assume, I don't know. I didn't see her when she was dressing up. But I assume she wore a jeans bomb shorts. Then on top of it, wore a jeans trouser. Then wore a jeans shirt and then wore a top and came out to come and fight. And as she was fighting the other person on the street, I was telling the husband that your wife is fighting on the street too, that she should go and settle. The husband came outside and told the wife that if they should beat her, he will see what he would do. That you must finish them. So there are people who come, I've had to have conversations, particularly with men. Okay, I had conversations with men who are afraid to go home because their wives beat them. That's an act to start out today's show. Do Nigerians experience childhood trauma? Yes. Or what these people are calling childhood trauma is just normal growing up in Lagos.
Yeah, it's just growing up in Lagos.
Okay, so let me ask you right now. If you have someone's father beating the person's mother, is that trauma? That's just another day in our life.
It might be for the kids.
Okay, you say you don't agree with her.
Like she's.
Let's pick it one by one right now. So one of the things mentioned in this particular article, all right, is domestic violence. Yeah. Okay, domestic violence meaning that both parents are beating each other. Okay, because there are some people who it's the woman that is beating the man, and the man cannot say it outside because people will say, "Are you not the man?" And then he goes and they beat him again. All right, so domestic violence. So let's pick domestic violence right now. Is that, without castigating, is there anybody here who has grown up in an environment in which people beating themselves is a normal thing. I'm not saying your parents are beating each other. I'm saying you grew up in an environment where it is, when people are beating themselves, you are not, it's not like you are stopping them. You are just like, it's normal. Those are neighbors. They always beat themselves.
I grew up like that.
You grew up in that kind of environment.
Yeah.
Okay, I will tell you a story now to open up the cycle in domestic violence. I had someone in school when I was in university. The guy was dating a girl. And I'm sure if the guy is watching this, I won't mention it, but if he's watching this, he will know he's the one I'm talking about. And the girl he was dating, when they got into fights, he would start punching her. And I always wonder that when we heard about it, he was very wealthy. This was one of the guys who, I think back then, he drove the latest version of the car he was driving. He was driving a Toyota. It was that year's Toyota. His father was a politician. The father had the filling stations in the state that they lived in. So he was extremely wealthy. So the girlfriend he had back then, each time they go into a car, he would beat her. And when you try to stop him from beating her, you know what he will tell you? He will say that he needs to beat her, that it's no big deal. After all, his dad beats his mom. Oh. I met somebody who knew his mother, and the person was telling me that we got talking. The person was telling me about that politician. He was caught to him, said that there are times in which he will meet the woman and say, Alaja, what happened to you? The woman said that she accidentally ran into the wall. Or she was getting out of the shower and she slipped there and hit her head on the toilet sink. All manner of ridiculous. And they knew that it was, but the guy was a very, very strong person. The father was, do you understand? So he saw it happen with his mom and his dad. And he saw it as a normal thing that if you love your wife, when she misbehaves, you have to teach her a lesson. I have met ladies also who, if they are dating a guy and they fight and the guy does not beat them, they feel the guy does not love them. Yeah. Someone came on this show and mentioned that. You were here when the lady mentioned. I have a friend like that.
I think I can. Yeah.
A lady that she broke up with someone because when they go into court, the guy is not, if he cannot undo me, if people outside we are fighting, this one, if fight starts outside, and I'm telling that, where's my husband? My husband, he will have taken off and start running. You get, so that's one. That's domestic violence. There's sexual abuse. We'll get sexual abuse. So you were about to say something much earlier.
I used to have a friend then. She's not that very calm, but she's a calm type. But she says she will never date somebody that is gentle. Like, she wants someone to just, if she goes wrong, just slap her. It's funny, but she say, I cannot date this guy. He's too gentle. So we went out one day, and one of my friends that is a guy met her with her, collected her number, and they started dating behind my back. So she later came. She not them that they were dating, but she later came and told me that I'm dating this guy, but I don't like him. I want to break up with him. It's like, why? Said, it's too gentle. If I shout, you say, I'm sorry. I just wanted to just wake up one day and just punch the hell out of me. I'll be like, why? So like, her mom used to tell her that if a man loves you, he will correct you.
Voila, deals.
All right, so we have that. So we have that story. Are they still dating now?
No.
They broke up.
She's dating one kind rugged guy. That's a dream man, actually.
The guy is like, she's dating an Agbero.
Not really an Agbero, but
he'll be smoking.
Educated touts.
Educated touts. Okay, so she's dating a thug. All right, so we have that particular experience. Okay, that's the reason why this matters is because in this particular case now, in that story you just told us, she found somebody who most women would say they want a man who can apologize.
Seriously.
Right? How many women say they want men that will apologize to them? Yeah. If you want a man that will apologize to you, raise up your hand. If you want a man,
I think Esther wants the opposite.
If you want a man that will be using a boju for you, raise up your hand. Your friend that you mentioned in this story now, if we brought her here and we asked her, do you want a man that will apologize to you and be kind to you and gentle with you, will she raise up her hand?
No.
Right.
I'm not sure.
So those are some of the things that confuses that confuses men. Well, on a side note, on that particular, I just want to mention this right now. There's a reason why that girl probably goes for those kind of guys. Because most times, I'm just on a side note, a lot of women want to date guys, they talk, that the guy is a talk to everybody, but she's the one that can handle him. Yes. If you think about it, when he's outside there, he can beat everybody, but when he comes in and she talks to him, she can calm him down. No. They want to tame
the good bad
they want
guy.
to tame the good bad guy or the bad good guy. That's, am I right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's why on this show we advocate that if you are too gentle with the people you are dating, right, they'll just use your heart to play ping pong. Okay, so the conversations we are having today, okay, is, and I want us to be honest, because I can't believe that in this entire panel that were seated, all of you are the good guys. Everybody is good guys. So we can just end the show then. Okay, so guys, thank you very much for coming to the show. It was nice having you. But is there anybody here who, if you look at yourself, or if you look at somebody close to, maybe if you look at your sister, because we know we talk about yourself. If you look at your sister also, you have those signs and you feel that this stuff is going to get in the way of getting lasting connection.
Yes, actually. Like, going back to
you
childhood.
cannot paint yourself as the hero in this story you want to tell.
Not at all.
Okay, so let's hear Tosin's story.
Yeah, I'm actually going back to the childhood trauma you discussed earlier. Like, I grew up in all this face me, I slap you house. Though all this fighting between couples, like husband and wives, I experienced a lot. But not between my dad and my mom. I'm not trying to say that they are saints, though they have this argument. Maybe the reason why I've not experienced with them, because I think my mom is the cool type. My mom, anytime my dad talks, she tends to like just keep quiet. And my dad doesn't live with us like that. My dad works, I think, in Onitsha at that time. He comes once, maybe like twice in a year. Anytime he comes, we are always cool. But for the neighbors that we live together, I see them fighting. I be like, since I was small, I hated it a lot. Like, why will a man fight with a girl? And that was one of the things I had in my mind. Till today, I will never beat a girl. It's not that I'm trying to be a good guy.
Have you dated a girl before?
Very well. Yes. At least 4 girls. I'm telling like 4 girls.
You dated like 4 girls?
Yes.
He's being honest now.
Should I lie?
To be lied to.
Okay. Who am I trying to impress here? Nobody. So, like, I hated it. Like, and I've experienced it before. Girls trying to stand up at me. I was like, okay, if they leave me and you one-on-one, you feel beat me. That thing happened, like, in my last relationship. The girl just stood, like, the girl was angry. Okay, I wanted to leave the house. Say, no, we can't leave the house. The girl stood by the door. Like, normally, it's something I can carry you and throw you away. But what did I do? I went back to the house. I sat down on the chair for like close to 2 hours. The girl was still standing there. I'm like, the devil will not use me today. I will never beat a girl. Because anytime I see husbands beating their wives, I'll be like, why? What was this? I always call any man that beat a woman coward. Like, if you know, say a shot for you, go to the ring, go and meet your fellow man and fight.
There's an issue what you said. You mentioned your flip side, but the issue is this. She just told you, Bolo Atfe just told us in this show that she has a friend who dated the guy and broke up with the guy because the guy was too gentle. You get, so how do you strike that balance? The conversations we are having, because the person who sent the WhatsApp message I mentioned at the beginning of the show, the lady mentioned that there are some people who they are damaged from childhood and they go out in the dating marketplace. I don't see it on their forehead. It's not as if you will see it written on anybody's head that if you date me, I will destroy your life.
It's not.
Yeah.
Most of the time, you just get to find out in the process of the life being destroyed. You get, and some of those guys, once they experience the pain and the hurt, they will carry the pain and the hurt, and they will go and start sharing it out also. So how do you reconcile that now? Because if you are dating a friend
that wants me to beat her,
exactly,
I won't beat her.
Okay, so in this story right now, you have mentioned that there's nothing you will do that will make you to beat a woman. All fun and good.
Do you have experience with it, or you know somebody and that has experience with it? Because I know a friend who grew up in Ajegunle. Like, the guy said that, in fact, it's a normal thing when they are passing to be hearing that the father is beating the mother on the streets. They beat themselves to the streets. And everybody's just passing, like it's normal thing. It's not so you get, like, so do you guys have experiences with it? or you know somebody. I'm asking three of you. That she actually, or you know somebody.
Yes, I know someone. And actually, she works in a place where I work too. So she told me about her relationship. And she was like, a guy, she works in an hotel. So she's always having issue with the guy. And this guy knows that this is where you are working. This is where the lady is working. And yet they are still having arguments. So anytime the girl is at work, the guy is always calling, always disturbing. And this work where she's working, it was this guy that helped the lady. So I don't know, why is he now having arguments with the girl? Not even arguments, he's always beating the girl sometimes. And again, the girl is staying with his family. Like they are staying together. So even the lady's family too, the guy's girlfriend is staying with his family. That is the guy's family.
Okay.
So they are not flowing along. The woman don't like the girl. Even the guy too. And she told me that she's the one doing everything. Like she prepares food.
For the family?
She used to bring money home. So she told me that the guy's mother, at first, the guy's mother was flowing along with her, but she don't know, all of a sudden everything just stopped.
Is she a wife?
Actually, that's the most annoying part though. A girlfriend though, and they are staying together. She's living with the family. You know when she was saying it, I was like, no, as if she does not even. She don't agree. Like if you call her a wife, like the guy's wife, if you address her as your husband, I be your wife. She will tell you, no, I'm his girlfriend.
But she's staying in the family house now.
I don't know. And the worst part is that this guy, anytime the girl is at work, you know, the woman she lost 2 of her customers just because of this guy's attitude.
A rich customer.
Yes.
Okay.
Like when she's working.
Can we bring it back full circle, right? So in this story now, are you saying that it's the issues she had as a child that made her start dating the guy?
I don't even know.
Wait.
Okay, so that doesn't apply to the conversation.
Yeah, I wanted to ask, is it that they threw her out of her house?
No, she said she wanted to change, like she wanted to change location. So that was why she came to Lagos. And unfortunately, and she's the type that she does not move along with married man. She said she loves singles, and the single that she's now with, she's now facing more than. Even the married one.
Just open the door.
The married one that she met was taking care of her. As in she was like, if I know, I should just end this relationship and go back to this married man. Because this man...
I don't understand your story, I'm confused.
It's actually for five.
It's still the domestic stuff I'm talking about.
Okay, she's talking. Okay, there's a physical abuse.
Yes, like the guy is always beating her. Despite the fact that he's taking care of her.
Okay, so what you tell me now, let me get you now. I'm trying to get your story.
Okay.
You told us now that you have someone who work in the same place. She doesn't like flowing with married men.
At all.
So she dates single men.
Exactly.
Even though she had a married man that was taking care of her. That's contradictory. She has,
okay, what she's trying to do, she has in the past
she has dated
dated
a married man in the past.
Exactly.
And so for you, it's not a big deal. Because the way you said it, she doesn't like dating, flowing with married men. It's not a big deal for you. Dating married men is no big deal now for you. Really.
Yeah? It is. I can't deal with it.
That's what you just said.
No.
Right now. Okay, so
There's something I wanted to say. I wanted to say, we've had problems and all these things we've been discussing are issues that they've been here for a very long time. It's not as if we just started it, decades. And some of these guys, in his own story, I believe that they are still together. In your own story, I believe they are still together.
They are still together.
And I believe in your own story, they are still together.
Ooh.
Your friend
that
is
dating a thug.
Yeah.
And they're still together. So,
Planning something serious.
and
they get to beat each other too.
Serious beating.
So in those
Wow.
scenarios, I think because I believe that there's somebody that will watch this stuff and it's probably in that shoe, probably in the guy's shoe, who the girlfriend is giving problem, or in your shoe, who has a friend that is attached to a guy that is beating him.
His girlfriend.
Yeah. So there's something they call Stockholm syndrome. Correct me if I'm wrong. You are attached to your predator.
To your abuser.
Yeah, to your abuser, something like that. And it's difficult to advise a girl in love, actually. So in those kind of scenario, how do we, because of course at the end of the day, there should be a practical solution. So how do we, since the people are not you. So suppose it was you. How will you advise yourself?
If I
Can I say
was
what
the
she
one-
told me, what she's going to do?
Of course.
Okay, she actually said she's going to, like, anything the guy tell her to do, she's going to do it. Like, but she's not going to marry him, and she's not going to allow the guy know. Do you understand?
Then why is she not in the relationship?
For
She's
the
going
house now,
to do
she be
anything,
homeless.
like, just for her to gather money so she can stay on her own.
Okay.
So you get.
Okay,
So
now
she's going to
has
play
her
along.
own-
exactly.
She
She's
has
going
a
to
long-
play along
Okay.
till she's able to stay on her own.
Okay, so
Well-
concerning the lady you mentioned, I wanted to hear their perspective, like these people's perspective. Suppose she was your friend, the girl that was courting with the boy, cohabiting with the boyfriend, and the boyfriend because there is wisdom, like we say, in everyday people. So I believe there's somebody here that's going through that stuff, watching. That's going through that stuff. So what would you suppose it was your friend? She was your friend.
Well, to me, since
You
she
can
has
who is talking?
me,
Okay.
like since she has an advantage in the relationship, she's getting an advantage, which is a house, so she can
And house is
continue.
expensive, abi?
No,
Continue.
because that's what she. It's just like that's what she wants in the relationship,
Yeah, yeah.
just a roof over her head. So till she
No
can
peace of
get
mind.
Yeah.
before she can get a house or maybe someone better, she can just continue if that's what she
What if she
wants.
get pregnant along the line?
No peace
But
of
that's
mind.
the problem. Because to me, if it's me, I cannot be in such situation. But if I find myself in such situation, I will leave.
Wait,
I'd rather be in my father's house than be in a guy's house and be beating
but
me.
your
on
father
it.
is in village now.
I will go back to the village. Maybe that's where they gave birth to me and trained me.
What about you?
You understand? You hear that statement in which they say that two people, if two people who are abusive, if they like, they should travel anyway. When they get into, if they get into a church or whatever, they will find themselves inside the church. They will see good people. They will not see them.
Yeah.
They will find themselves and hook themselves up.
Yeah, yeah.
You understand? So that's the conversation we are having. And we're not talking about what other people have to do. We're talking about what are the things in our own childhood that can create problems in getting into relationship or in sustaining relationship. That's the way the conversation is going. Do you understand?
Yes, I understand what you're. I have an experience. Let me. My parents. Yeah. Let me say, my daddy is the first and only person my mommy dated before they get married. So, in the relationship now, my mommy is now noticing some characters that, to me, they are not endurable. But it's not like he beats her or anything. It's just his character. There are some kind of things that he does. You'll be like, is this even a husband? But she's still in the relationship there and just saying she's enjoying everything for her children. So now, because of that scenario now, I cannot, if I enter a relationship, I will notice his character. And if he's giving me any character that I cannot endure, I will leave it. Because I feel
You have to be
relationship.
specific about what character is. Because one
Okay.
man's meat is another man's poison. It may be possible that in your story right now, the character you're saying, if you sit down and throw it out in public, you may find out that your dad is the right person.
Well, that's what I'm saying. People have different things that they can endure, and people have
And so
different
in
things
this particular
that.
case now, what is that one thing? Is it something so terrible that you cannot say?
Okay, no, it's not really that terrible. It's just that my daddy is not like the fun type. Like, he doesn't engage with his family. Like, he goes to work, come back, and he's just always on his own. Me, I don't like that kind of person. Maybe even my mommy also complains about it. Like, he's just always on his own. Like, something like other people might like it. There are some women that they like man that doesn't disturb them, like something like that. But me, I don't like something like that. So if I kind of get into a relationship and I notice that this man is giving me a character that I cannot endure, I think it's better to leave the relationship instead of enduring it and getting into marriage. Then it will be something you cannot endure.
Okay, so
Are
in
you
your
saying-
story right now, in the story you've narrated now, you're saying that the issue that you do not like about your father is the fact that when he goes to work and comes back, he does not engage with anybody.
Yes, it was not engaged with. Like,
Okay.
and anytime he's around, he's always too harsh. I
All
don't
right, so
know.
I have a couple of questions for you.
Well,
All right, because this you can't change your father.
Problem now. I even love that.
Please hear me. You can't change your father,
Yes.
whether I like you or not. You did not choose the same way you did not choose your father. You don't get to change him. If your mom has been married with him for how many years have they been married?
I think 30.
If they've been married for over 30 years, your mom cannot change him. You as the child do not get to show up and change him.
Yeah,
However,
I don't want to
I have a
change
couple
my
of
daddy.
questions for you.
Okay.
Do you have food to eat?
I got a question.
Do you have food to eat?
All I'm
Do you
trying
have food to eat?
Yes, I have
to
to
Promise.
eat.
Do you have a roof over your head?
Yes.
Do you have clothes on your back?
Yes.
I am
Okay,
going to
so
school.
your father, I was saying this. I'm not saying this because I'm a man. I'm saying this because your father may watch this, and he probably will feel that I should defend him. So we'll start out defending him.
Actually.
Okay, so on base of that, your father has played a role. He has played his role as a father.
Yeah.
Okay, on the role of your mom and your dad's relationship, if that is the issue, if there's nothing, if you're not hiding, if that is the issue, have you had conversations with your father to understand exactly why he's like that?
I cannot have a conversation.
No. Listen, hear me. Have you actually taken time out to talk to him? Because I will tell you this. I don't know what your father does, but I will tell you, and I'm talking as someone who has spoken to lots of men. Okay, men who carry responsibilities for their families. I'll tell you this. There are lots of men who are living lives of quiet desperation. You know what quiet desperation means? Let me tell you. There are lots of men who the only reason why they have not killed themselves is because they are wondering that how will my children survive if I die? There are lots of people like that who on a day-to-day basis, they hate the jobs they are doing. They hate the fact that they have to take insults from a boss at work. Okay? They hate the fact that the work they are doing is killing them. But if I don't do this, all right, my children will be out on the streets. I'm telling you, there are men like that. I'm not trying to paint
Yes,
you.
I am
You
understanding
get so.
what you're saying.
And for such men like that, one of the best things you probably may have to do for him is try to understand exactly the headache he goes through at work. I will give you a challenge, and I think you should take that challenge up. This is not related to the show. I will give it the challenge is when you get back home today. Okay? If you have time with your father, if he's free over the weekend, sit down and talk to him and ask him about what kind of work he does. Ask him the way his day is. Ask him the difficulty he goes through. Just show some interest. Because a lot of people don't. Most of the time, most men who have children who are much older, a lot of times they feel that they are useful, they are only useful the same way you use a spoon.
Oh, yeah.
You pick it up, you use it to eat, and you put it down, you wash it. Do you understand? I don't know if you get
And
me.
there's the way you can ask him.
guys,
We just
Because
to have
what
some
you are
money
complaining
alone.
about, I can bet you with you. Again, one of the previous shows we uploaded, you can meet a guy. The guy may be fun. We had a psychologist in the studio. He sat down in your chair. You can meet a guy. You may love him. The guy may be the fun guy at the beginning of your relationship. When responsibility starts,
all those
you
comedy.
see, when your friends start to show up, do you know what I mean by your friends?
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean by your
children.
friends? You marry a woman and then she starts
Yeah.
to deliver her friends.
Yeah, your kids.
When your children show up, because you say my children are my friends, when your friends show up, the guy would have to carry the responsibility, and you realize that by the time he's done carrying the responsibility to keep your friends happy and you happy, he does not have the time to have fun. I'm telling you. So you may end up marrying a fun guy, and then when you guys years into your marriage, the responsibility has taken all the fun out of his life. We've gotten fixated on domestic violence, but there are other forms. There's sexual violence.
Actually.
There's abandonment. Abandonment is like a girl came in, sat in a chair, the way you are sitting, and she said that her father just stood up and left her mom with, I want to marry somebody else. Okay? And years after, also, I think the man said years after, she doesn't even understand the whole issue. But the thing that affected her, in fact, the lady I'm narrating her story is the one who sent this WhatsApp message. Because she got into, at that time she was 21, 22, she got into relationships that if it was somebody else, she probably would have ended up marrying those guys. But she said no to those guys. Why? Because she was afraid that if I get married to this
They'll
guy
behave like my
and we have children, this person may leave me the way my father left. You get, so we have that. Okay, so how do we address this? That's the question now. How do we address abandonment? How do we address domestic violence? How do we address trust issues? Is there anybody who has been able to address in your personal life? Is there anybody who has experience addressing any of these issues?
So, on the case of sexual violence, I used to have one guy, a friend, then he stayed with his uncle, and his uncle used to rape him.
If a guy,
A guy, yeah.
his uncle.
Like
Just please allow her to tell the story.
homosexuality, something like homosexuality stuff. So his uncle used to rape him when he was a child. So he grew up and left the uncle place. So he had a girlfriend. Me and the girl were very close then. And the guy used to be my friend too. But we don't really talk. So the girl now told me that the guy said something one day that it's not as if I love you, but I love you because your ass is big enough. Like, I don't know if that's too real, but your backside is big enough. So she just felt like maybe it's just a compliment. So one day they were inside. She said the guy tried to rape her. Not even rape her in a normal way. Like rape her anally. Like, but she left the relationship, sha. But me, I know tell the guy, but I just told her that I should tell the guy to go for therapy. Maybe something can change. Or cause
Was it the girl that told you that the uncle was raping him?
No, the girl. She told me everything. That was how it happened.
Was the guy sleeping with other men?
That's why I don't know.
You don't know the details of that story?
I don't know.
Okay.
Because it's not my boyfriend. My friend's boyfriend. That's my friend.
Okay. No, I wasn't saying that it was yours.
It's not my. It can never be mine. God forbid.
No, you won't know now.
You will not know. They don't
All
like
right.
that.
Okay, so that's the story. So what do you do in that situation? What do you tell him?
Me, I only advise him to go for therapy.
Black don't believe in therapy.
Or there's nothing to do. It can't change. It can't just change naturally. It's not possible because that was what he grew up with. So I just think he should go for therapy. Then if that one don't work out for him, then he needs prayer.
Of Jesus.
Okay,
He needs prayers.
so in your own case, it's prayer, therapy, and then
Now,
like
and he should work
spiritual
on
help.
himself.
Working on yourself does not. What does that mean? He gets up and he gyms.
Like not like gym.
Or he gives
Like he should
personal-
try to try out new things because you only have whenever he wants to sleep with a woman, he either sleeps with her anally. Like he should try the normal way.
The way you are saying this, you are giving so much details about this guy for someone that is your friend. But don't worry, I would.
Oh yeah, you don't catch me.
Eh?
Don't catch me.
You know, he's not my boyfriend. No.
All right, so we have that. So we have people who have gone through sexual violence, and whether you like it or not, it impacts them. Okay, we have domestic violence. Is there anybody else? Is there anybody who has gone through like abandonment? Maybe you feel that like a mom or dad just stood up and left. Is there anybody here? All right, so let's hear.
Okay. This is what I noticed from the beginning. I know everything is not natural. Whenever we are praying in the house, my daddy will be like, we are disturbing him. We should allow him to sleep. And my dad is should I say my dad is a lazy man? Because my mom is the only one working. She takes care of us and everything. And my dad will still steal her money.
Did you experience your dad stealing her money?
Even my money.
Okay.
So that very day, my dad started acting strange, like shouting at my mom. Things I noticed it has never happened. So it comes to a stage that my dad started beating my mom. One of a suddenly, my dad said, he saw a job at Ekiti, that he wants to go for the job at Ekiti. He went for like 3 months, 4 months. He came back again. He left again for like 2 years and he never returns. So when we find out that he got married to another woman there and he has given birth, so ever since then, he never returns. And it's not as if like he's not communicating with us. He's only communicating with my elder ones. So ever since then, that was, he left when I was in SS2 going to SS3 then. That was when he left. And
How many years ago was that?
12 years ago.
Okay.
So ever since then, it has been only my mom. Even
Does he send money for upkeep?
no.
He doesn't send money for
That's
upkeep.
all.
Okay.
So ever since then, it has been only my mom that was taking care of us. So my mom settled my WAEC fee and everything. So ever since when I started working immediately. I finished my WAEC. I started teaching. The second week, I finished my WAEC. So I told my mom I want to write JAMB. My mom was like, "Hello, Maron, law school." But I have that faith. So I wrote JAMB the first time. I wasn't given admission the second time. The third time my mom was like, "Toluma ways to wear." Then I told her, "She better call for me low. So though it has not been easy because it was just as if I was the one taking care of myself then. So my mom was there a little bit for us, but at least she's trying her best. I have like 3 younger ones.
How did it affect your romantic relationships?
Should I continue?
Yeah.
Okay. So I got admission in 2017. And what happened to me? My parents were still together. It wouldn't have happened. I got admission 2017 October. Like I went to school 2017 October. So I met this guy. Like everything was just so terrible. Like I got pregnant. Before I dated the guy, before we started dating, I never loved him. I don't have any feelings for him. But my roommate was like, "Tolu, date this guy. At least you don't have someone you are dating. Date him." I told her that I don't have any feelings for him, so I can't date him. I did not really have any experience in serious relationships, so I don't know how to deal with guy. And if a guy is lying, I don't know anything about it then. Then this guy came along and started disturbing me for sex and everything. We had sex. And we had it several times and I got pregnant. So what I was trying to say is that I didn't, I did not have that fatherly care. Like I was just alone and doing my things alone. And my mom's family, they're in abroad. So they are the ones sponsoring my education. So the guy, before I even find out I was pregnant, the guy already left me for another lady. So the guy really hurts me so much. Like every day I'm just always crying. So like everything was just like I was just being neglected. Like no one cares about me and like the feelings and everything. This guy, I think it was after we had sex. That was when I loved him so much. Like that was when I believed that when a guy is virgin you, even if you did not like the guy, you like him. So I really love him. I had carry over in school because of that guy. But I was unable to.
Did you have the baby?
Yes.
Okay.
So
was it a boy or a girl?
Boy.
Okay.
So to cut this story short, everything, it was not easy. That one, the guy also hurts me so much. Even when we were dating, before I got pregnant and everything, it really hurts me so much. He might not talk to me. Even when I was pregnant, I can count the days that I was happy. It's not even up to 10 times for 9 months. Because I did not agree to stay with him. We were staying beside each other. He has a cafe in my school. Like he's working in the school. He has a cafe in the school. sometimes I could remember the day I was in 6 months pregnancy. This guy did not talk to me for like 3 weeks, and we are staying beside each other.
Did he want the baby then?
He wanted me to abort it. Even his mother
Wanted you to?
abort the baby.
Okay.
But I told him I won't.
Why
Are you with him now?
No,
When last did you talk to him?
2 years ago.
Okay.
So,
Why did you choose to keep the baby? Why did you choose to keep the baby?
because I don't want to abort it.
Like, was it that you were afraid for if something happens? Or?
Okay, let me say this. I had one pregnancy before. I aborted it.
For him?
Yes.
Okay.
Because my mom used to say, Tolu, ọmọ sọ fún pé tó bá ṣẹ́yún, tó bá lóyún, má ṣe o, tó bá ṣe o máa kú. So the first one, I know what I went through. So I almost died. So that was why I could not abort the second one. Even when his mother came, the guy mother came and she was like, abort it. And I told her, no, I won't. So Adibin, at least I will have that fatherly fear that I will feel. Adibin, my father.
That was around.
Yes, everything wouldn't have happened.
Okay, so I would say this now, and I'm going to do what I would say right. What I'm going to say next. I will alienate all the women in the room. You know what that means? That means that what I want to say next, you may not like to hear it.
I think.
Okay. No, let me just go. So right now, at this particular point, I get that. I get your thoughts. Tolu, I don't want to come across as insensitive. I get your hurt. But the question right now is this: what are you doing? What are you actively doing?
Okay.
Okay, because the goal of this conversation is you are not, for you probably may feel that your story is heartwarming and all that because it's exclusive to you. But you are not the only person in Nigeria. Do you understand? Who is dealing with this? There are lots of people who are dealing with this. There are lots of people who, what you are going through is what you have gone through is what they are presently going through. They're going to watch this video. They will listen to you. So that's why I'm asking this question. That what are you doing to overcome all the pain and the hurt?
After I left him, my mom, so I started working as a promoter. I work as a promoter and I started taking care of my child, taking care of myself. Then I only work weekends. I work from Friday to Sunday. So I was like, instead of staying at home, because I'm a stylist, it's not every day that people will be making hair. So then I think about it. Instead of staying at home from Monday to Thursday, I went back to school for my HND.
Okay.
So I started going to school from Thursday to Monday to Thursday. Then I go to work from Friday to Sunday. So that's how I've been coping.
Okay, so I'm super grateful that you are honest. Okay, I am extremely super grateful you are honest. So let's just jump right into this. As it stands right now, whether you want to accept it or not, whoever you end up dating, the person would have to deal with those issues from the past. And you can say that it will not affect the person. But human beings, we are creatures of habit. If you see any sign that a person is about to leave, all right, you will respond. You most likely would lash out. Okay, it doesn't matter. You cannot. And the reason why you would do that is not because you're a bad person. The reason why you would do that is because there are lots of things in your past that will feed into that decision. When you spoke about your dad, you mentioned the fact that you said that your dad stole from your mom and he stole from you and the guy left and he didn't come back. Okay? As it is right now, it's not just a question of trust, it's also a question of respect. It's going to be extremely hard to find any man that you will be willing to respect. It's going to be extremely hard. Okay? And you probably would have to take note of that. So I will tell you this. If you're 27 and you want to start a family, I think you should set it as a priority. I think you should set it as a priority if you are 27. And these are my reasons for it. The journey of life is very, very long. And for most people, the reason why most people choose to either get married or have fun with them is so that you have someone to support you in that journey. Because it's not an easy journey for one person. It doesn't mean that you cannot take it alone, but it's a hard journey to take alone, particularly if you are going to have children. Do you understand me? I'll give you an example. For instance, when a woman is pregnant, if a woman is one of the reasons why it's important for women and men, all right, to ensure they are married, particularly in Africa, before they start having children, is because when a woman is pregnant, a lot of the times, when a woman is pregnant, she's not in the position to do physical work. You understand me? And so, historically, people will be like, okay, you have to have a husband that can run around so that if you are pregnant, if for any reason your life is at risk, if for any reason you have to be admitted and kept in the hospital, okay, there is someone to do that running around for you. Do you understand me? Are you guys with me?
Yes.
Okay, so from the point of view of relationship, I think it's important that you would have to prioritize getting into a relationship. And it's not the kind of thing that you probably would want to hear from a stranger. But if you talk to your family, people will tell you that has happened. You have to move on beyond it. You cannot allow your attachment to that guy to hold you back. That's the first. Second, any guy who you are getting in contact with, anybody who finds himself in this situation has to realize that any particular man you're getting in contact with, the man has to take on the additional role of supporting a child that is not his. Do you guys understand me? So some people will tell you in our culture, some people will tell you that the child is the child with you or with your mom.
I'm staying with my mom. So my child is with my mom.
Some people will tell you that you have the option to give your son to the father. Some people tell you have the option to give your son to your mom.
I'm the one taking care of my mom, my son.
I get you. What I'm trying to say is this, is that any man who is going to come into a relationship with you as it is right now, that man has to factor in the fact that you have a son already. And he has to factor in that you have a son and the father does not want to take responsibility for that son. Do you understand me? Anybody who finds himself, for single moms, any man who is dating a single mom has to pick up the financial bill for the son. Do you guys agree with me?
Yes.
It's important that you may have to figure out exactly, you have to make a decision on your son. Are you going to leave the son with the father? Are you going to leave the son with your mom? Particularly when you are dating. Because for most men, this is what will happen. For most men, once they hear that this man is a single mom, she already has, for most men, I'm not talking about
all men.
Almost. But once they hear a woman is a single mom, most men will log off. That's the first. We're giving candid advice here. It's brutal. It's brutally honest. For dating relationships, you may have to be with serious, you may have to, until you are certain that a man is serious, you may not want to bring up the issue that you're a single mom. And you would have to insist that anybody you are dating must be somebody who is financially capable of supporting the family. Let me tell you the difference. Okay? All right? So thank you very much for sharing that.